Good day. How are we? Happy Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. I had to really think about it then. Time seems to just constantly move and I can't keep up with it. How are we? How's your Sunday going? How's the weather? Is everything good? It's actually quite miserable here. We've had some really, really warm weather here on the East Coast. The other day clocked 42 with the humidity, which was pretty unbearable. But today is quite comfortable. I think we're in the mid-20s. God knows what that is in Fahrenheit. That's not my area of the world. Sorry, Americans. And it's pretty miserable, but it's all good. It's great to be here with you folks today. It feels like forever since we had a KupoCast, but I guess it was just February. Though this will be my last KupoCast until November. So enjoy it while you can. But don't forget, obviously, we do have the Dawn Trail event later in the week, depending on whether you consider the week to start on a Sunday or Monday. I consider it to be a Monday. Anyway, thanks for joining. We have quite the crowd today. I suspect most of you are here for information on Glasgow, for which I have lots of, so I'll share as much as I can with you today. Hopefully my audio is coming through crisp and clear for you, and hopefully I will pronounce every word correctly, unlike my test today, where I could not pronounce the word screen, which came out as squeen. And that made for a nice, entertaining moment on Discord. Special thanks to my moderators today who will be assisting. I believe we have Rachel, Nikita, Mel, and Ant. There may be a few others bobbing about out there. I'm not sure. But I thank you for being here. I'm told my audio is slightly low, so I shall turn myself up. Yeah, music's always loud. What do you expect? It's Pontus. Pontus always has a cracking beat. Hopefully my audio's a bit better for you there. Anyway, special thanks to Pontus, of course, for putting that track together, the 16 medley, which we used during the 16 launch event just over a year ago. So yeah, should we get started? Should we rock and roll? Hopefully my audio is a little bit louder for you now. I should have adjusted knowing that Pontus's music was super loud. But I think we're good now. Anyway, let's jump right into it. We have lots to cover today. Lots and lots and lots. But before we move on to what I suspect most of you are here for is the Glasgow stuff, let's talk about Dawn Trail. So we are just a few days away from the Dawn Trail event that we are hosting. Originally, we had planned to do these in person. We were going to do one in London and one in Chicago. But those of you who follow KupoCon closely will know, unfortunately, my house flooded. And the basement, I mean, we call it a basement, but in North America, if you've never been to North America, you don't live in North America, you may not know that a lot of houses are kind of what we call split entry, where kind of half your house is kind of underground. Your windows are all above ground, of course, but they're full-size windows, but you're kind of so many feet into the ground. And unfortunately, the entire bottom of my house flooded with about 4 to 6 inches of water, and it soaked into all the walls and the carpets and the furniture, and it was just awful. We lost so much Kupo stuff. But I am pleased to report that we are back on track. Everything is good now. We did lose quite a bit, but, you know, such is life. And we unfortunately had to cancel the Dawn Trail events because of that, which was really shitty, but it's okay. We're able to do this online. So this is our current lineup. I will not say it's our final lineup because things could change. I know some of you, I just saw a comment there saying maybe it'd be Colin. Unfortunately, Colin's not available to join us that weekend, so he sends his apologies for not being able to join us. But there's a possibility there might be another guest announcement before. I'll never say never. But as it stands, this is who you should expect to see. And the Dawn Trail launch event should be fun. If you joined us for the Endwalker one, you will know that it became a bit of a internet sensation with the milkshake, the milkshake song, and who knows what this one might bring. I'm not going to take it too seriously. It's all about having fun. We're going to enjoy the cast. We're just going to have a little bit of fun. So join us. I think there will be a few memeable moments for sure. Now, we have put together some merchandise for the Dawn Trail event. Some simple stuff, nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. We've got some nice little pin badges that are available on kupo.shop. We have these little derpy stickers. And then we have the Mine milkshake holder or tumbler. You can put whatever liquids you want in it. It's a nice stainless steel flask there that comes with a straw, if I remember, and a straw cleaner. Comes in a box. and it's just a nice little item to have as a memento for the event. So with all our online events, anytime we interview a special guest, we pay them, and this is not really common on the way of things when it comes to like YouTube channels who interview special guests and whatnot. They don't typically pay them, but we always give them an honorarium. We understand that they get paid when they do the game, but then that's it. Obviously they have other jobs, but we like to make sure that we're supporting the people who brought these characters to life. So by purchasing something in our store, you help us support events such as the Dawn Trail event, for you, which you may think, oh, there's no expenses involved, but the Dawn Trail online stream will cost KupoCon thousands. As I said, we do like to support those involved. So if you have the ability to support us, it is appreciated. You can go to kupo.shop, or you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/KupoCon. Okay, and of course, if you can't make the event, I see somebody just said, oh no, I can't make it. Well, don't worry, that's fine. You can just watch it play back. It will be available on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. So that's the Dawn Trail event this coming Thursday. It's during, server downtime. Come join us. It should be fun. We got some fun ideas. If you've watched our 7 remake anniversary event, that will give you an idea of some of the things that we have planned. It was one of probably the highlights of that event. So, on we press. Let's talk a little bit about the pop-up if we could. So we do have a pop-up that we've announced in the UK running from September 27th to the 29th. So the 27th is the Friday, and on the evening we're hosting a social mixer. There's no real theme for this, consider it like a cocktail party, but we just encourage you to, if you can, come along, join us, maybe have a few drinks, a few themed drinks, just hang out with the community. And then on the 28th and the 29th, we are hosting a free pop-up event in London. It's going to be at the Novotel London West, which is the home of KupoCon in London as it stands these days. Not to say that it always will be, hint, hint. Not to say that we're not going back if somebody from the Novotel is watching this, but we are delighted to return to the Novotel for this pop-up event. And as I said, it's free. You don't have to register tickets for it unless you're coming to the celebration on the Friday night. If you want to pick up a quest log, you can. The quest log allows you to go off and do some exploration in the city while earning gil, and then you can come back and get some free merchandise. Maybe many of you are going to the 7 Rebirth concert that weekend at the Albert Hall, while we will be on and around the site giving out some freebies. So be sure to stop by and come to the Novotel. We'll be delighted to see you. It's quite likely we're going to have a special guest or 2, so look out for information as that grows nearer. I won't focus too much on the pop-up because all the information is on our website, and there is much to talk about today. I feel like I'm already halfway through my slides, but most of what I'm going to be talking about today is Glasgow, is Pomfinity. That was the wonderful artwork you saw at the beginning of this cast by Vivian Lee. Isn't it stunning? But before I move on to that, I want to talk a little bit about Vancouver. So Pom West in Vancouver, technically Burnaby, sold incredibly well. I could not be any happier with it. So to everyone who was screaming about KupoCon on the West Coast saying we must support them so they'll come back, thank you, because the event sold very quickly. We're expecting just over 700 people at the event, which is fantastic, making it our largest event on the West Coast to date. Usually the West Coast are our smallest events, do not generally do financially well, so this is wonderful to see such strong numbers. And yes, I would say that if we can have just as successful as the show be as successful as ticket sales, then I don't see any reason why we won't be returning to the region in the near future. Maybe not next year, maybe the year after, who knows? I won't say because I don't know at this point. Next year's calendar is still being kind of played with, so we'll wait and see. But if you are coming to Pom West, we look forward to seeing you there. It is officially sold out. The waitlist has been activated. We are going to be announcing another guest. I did post on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, which I've kind of taken a bit of a break from recently. I did say that if we could hit a sellout very quickly, I would look to arrange another guest. I'm pleased to report I have arranged another guest, and I will be announcing them in a few days, sometime next week. And They're from an earlier Final Fantasy title. I know a lot of people have been requesting people from 7, Rebirth Remake, and 16, but we are a celebration of the series, of course. We want to obviously support the latest titles, the wonderful titles that Square Enix have produced for us, but we also want to have that nostalgia to look back on the games that have passed, such as Hedibris, the wonderful voice actor of Yuna, but we also have somebody else from a previous game that I think you will enjoy. So look out for that announcement in the days ahead. I'm pleased to report that autograph bundles will be available for those 5 guests, releasing on July 30th. The bundle will be $129, and that will include an autograph and selfie with every guest. If you're not familiar with how our autograph system works now, you can find information on our Kupo 101 series, which is here on our YouTube channel. We've really upped our game, really changed the system, made it very quick so that the bundle is by far the cheapest, and by far the quickest way to meet all the guests. It's a single line, nice and quick, nice and easy. It means you get those autographs and selfies, and then if you want to have those social moments, obviously we have the evening for that. So that's what KupoCon's really unique for. Because, of course, in almost all cases, our special guests will attend the evening and socialize. It's so hard to have a conversation with someone at a guest table, especially when everything is moving so quickly. So that is the bundle, $129. It's really fantastic value. I do not have available to me yet the autograph pricing, but I assure you there will not be an autograph under $50 individually. I'm absolutely positive of it. In fact, I expect it will be more. So $129 for all 5 guests is just fantastic value, and there will be just 100 of those bundles released on July 30th. As with all recent events, our top tier tickets, the ultimate ticket holders, will get priority access to that, but full details will be shared to our website in the days ahead, so look out for that information. Just reading through the comments here. I'm going to try my best to keep up with everything. Full loot. So we will be sharing more loot information with you. We haven't really showed... we showed a little bit. We showed the t-shirt, and we've showed the bag, and we've showed the quest log, but we have a few other things to show, and that will be showing the full kind of lineup of merchandise loot that is included in August. I'm saying August/September because it's going to be a bit dependent on how things go on our end, but I'm leaning towards very late August and into September, so do look out for that as well. And don't forget to grab your evening tickets. We noticed a large number of people did not pick up their evening tickets. It is very easy to overlook how wonderful the evening experience is. It really is fantastic. You absolutely should go to the evening. If you're in this stream right now and you've been to the evening, I'm sure you can agree with me that the evenings can really heighten the experience. It doesn't matter if you drink or not, that's not the point. They're not like raves. They're just really enjoyable social experiences, and it's really kind of unique to be kind of like, just look at London with, Hedy and Ben and Caleb all up on stage, or when we were at Toronto most recently, we had Gideon Emery up on stage dancing, and so it was a really fun vibe. It's just a really fun time. So make sure you pick up your ticket for the evening, and that is the Costa del Cupo, Costa del Cupo theme, and it's going to be very beachy. I know a few people actually thought we were hosting it at a beach in November. No, please read the website. We are hosting it in the hotel, so it'd be nice themed summery drinks, maybe pop on some shorts. We'll get them to turn up the temp. We're going to have lots of beach inflatables and stuff. It's going to be fun. So join us for that, please. So I want to talk about Generation 7 in general. I want to talk about some of the things that we're planning, and then I want to talk about Glasgow. I hope that works for you. So we'll keep pushing forward. Doing pretty good, 20 minutes in. I'm actually thinking that I'll be here for less than an hour today, which is pretty wonderful. Okay, so something that I've been longing to talk about for a while is the Earth Shrine. The Earth Shrine did incredibly well. As those of you who are familiar with what the Earth Shrine is, great. If you're not, I'll give you a quick rundown. Do you remember those books from the 90s, those turn-to-page adventure books? You may be like, oh, you're in a corridor, you see a door to your left that is wooden, you see a door to your right that has a skull and crossbones on and it's metal. Do you want to go through the left door, turn to page, do you want to go right through the right door, turn to page? You get the idea. So these choose-your-own-adventure turn-to-page novels that were really, really popular in the 90s. I loved them. People like Ian Livingstone, Steve Jackson, just, names, were responsible for many a thing now, like such as Warhammer and Games Workshop and all that jazz. They just made these incredible books, and we wanted to do something like that with a kind of Final Fantasy Kupo theme. So we worked with Micah Rodney to release the Earth Shrine. The Earth Shrine was released at Pom Central in Birmingham, and it was very popular. We've sold hundreds of copies. We're very delighted with it. And of course, it was always the plan to make a series, and I'm pleased to announce the second book is coming, and here it is. So the Fire Shrine is the next release. It is a stunning book again. I cannot sing the praises of Micah enough. The book is approximately 25 to 30% finished at this point. I believe we're going to be looking at 5 chapters again. 5 chapters may not sound like much, but those of you who picked up the Earth Shrine will know that that was a thick book. Each chapter is very deep and involved, lots of options. We've learned a little bit from the Earth Shrine to make the Fire Shrine a little bit more unique, and we're very excited with how it's coming together. I was on the phone to Micah just a few days ago, and we were reading through chapter 1. He's just wrapping up chapter 2. And we were adding some Kupo lore to it. And we were adding some kind of 90s stuff to do with, those of you in the UK know Sooty and Sweep. We added something from that. And we're trying to make sure that we add some kind of, nostalgia from all different regions, UK, US, global recognizable things. Like we had some stuff from Monty Python in the last one. So we do have some general kind of pop cult references, but we also have Final Fantasy references, loads of course, to respectfully look at the series and admire it. But we also have lots of Kupo Easter eggs, and add on the active time lore, which is in the back of the book, which kind of gives you more kind of world building. It's a fantastic book, so do check this one out. You don't have to play the Earth Shrine first. If you want to, you can. It is available on our store right now, kupo.shop. Just search for the Earth Shrine. Maybe one of our mods can drop a link directly to that book. It is printed right at the factory and shipped to you. Please check it out. I love it. I think it's fantastic. You don't have to play the Earth Shrine first. You could play the Fire Shrine first. We're working on a preview book kind of similar to what we did for the Earth Shrine, and that should be available for the Popup in the UK, and absolutely will be available in Vancouver for Pom West. And we plan to release it at Pomfinity, which is our 20th convention in Glasgow next year, which I'm sure many of you are here for. And Michael Rodney will be attending Pomfinity to sign those copies for you. Very, very excited. Very excited. So I hope many of you have had the opportunity to read the Earth Shrine. If you haven't, please, again, do go check it out. It's fantastic. I really love it. I've loved all the work that we've done in literature since the beginning of KupoCon. It's one of the things I'm most proud of, is that KupoCon is not just a running of events, right? We do lots of community work. We produce lots of cool and unique products. So, I'm really thankful that we're able to do all these cool things. Let's talk a little bit about Gil, if we may. I want to talk about Generation 7 in general. So, unfortunately, as I mentioned at the beginning of this cast, we did have a flood here at the house, and we did lose the majority of our Gil. In fact, all the Gil that was in North America was lost, apart from maybe a bundle about so big. So that has been a bit of an issue for us, because obviously we're going into Vancouver and we've been questioning whether we want to replace that Gil or not. So we're not sure what's happening yet. Once we go over to the UK for the pop-up, we're going to see what Gil we have available, and if we have enough, we'll stick with it. But we may have to introduce this Gil a little bit earlier than Generation 7, because it's very expensive to print Gil, very expensive. So we don't want to waste money. We'd rather just mass print Gen 7's gil rather than printing a small amount of Gen 6 gil, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is an administrative issue, so do not worry. But Generation 7 gil, I'm here to introduce it to you today. The last sets of gils were the Chocobos, the sets before that were the Moogles, and this time we wanted to recognize how far we've come by just kind of looking at the iconic artworks that have been produced for KupoCon. But something that I think that we're missing, or maybe I'll talk about what we're not missing and what we have first. Something that I think that is really impressive with KupoCon is the gil in general. Look at it. It just looks fantastic, right? So if you look at just, I don't know, look at Monopoly, for example. The money it's Monopoly money. It's fake. And our first original gil had that kind of Monopoly look to it. It was just colored paper, black and white printing, wasn't really much to look at. Then we moved to a different type of paper. It was a really nice paper that kind of had a bill or note feel to it, right? Really like legitimizes the currency. But it's all well and good doing these things, but they're just bills or notes, right? So what do you think of when you think of money? You think of coins. So, I'm pleased to announce that we are going to be introducing coins. So the Generation 7 gil will be made up of coins and notes or bills, whatever you prefer to call them. So it will have both. So there's going to be the introduction of coins for 1 gil, 5 gil, and 10 gil. Sorry, that's actually wrong. My apologies. That is a typo on my part. The introduction of coins will be 1 gil, 2 gil, and 5 gil. That's my mistake. I was reading it and thinking that's not right. It's 1 gil, 2 gil, and 5 gil. So I apologize for the error on that slide. I will have it corrected. The notes and bills will come in 10, 20, 50, and 100. And we are going to produce a new coin pouch, so you can actually, kind of carry around in what seems like a more realistic mode of transportation, I guess. You wouldn't want to, you could put it in your wallet, you're more than welcome to, or in your pocket, but we're also going to produce these little coin pouches that we think will make it unique. So we have samples of the Generation 7 bills/notes here. So we have the 10 gil, the 20 gil, the 50 gil, and the 100 gil. Do you recognize the artworks? So we have Port Pom, Pom Squared, the bigger Pom, and the upcoming artwork for Pomfinity in Glasgow. And then here on the side, you have an example of what the coins will look like. 3 coins are different sizes. So we have the 1 gil coin, which will be the smallest, and I would say it's in similar size to a penny. In wherever, I think the UK penny is slightly bigger. Then we have the 2 gil coin, which is closer to a Canadian quarter or maybe a 10p in the UK. I can't remember the sizes of the coins in the US right now off the top of my head, my bad, sorry. And then the 5 gil coin would be somewhere around the size of a £2 coin, €2 coin kind of size, which I think are about similar in size, or maybe a toonie over here in Canada. So, and they're all different colors. They have kind of a different rustic finish to them. So everything is going to have this very unique look, and it has been very expensive to do, but we're really excited because we think that if you truly want to have your own currency, you need to have coins. One thing I can confirm is that the coins, unlike the notes, will transfer between events. They may not transfer between generations, but to begin with, they will transfer between events. So if you have some coins, you will be able to use them between events. Now, the coins will begin circulation in 2025. First event will be Pomfinity, and they will be very limited. It's not the kind of thing that you're going to walk over to the Bank of Mog and they're just going to start handing you like buckets of, you can't go up to them with a 10 and say, can you give me 10 ones? That's not how it's going to work, because these coins cost a lot of money to make. So they will be slowly introduced over time, but you'll certainly have some coins available to you. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I know that people love to collect gil, and this is going to kind of bring me to my next point for those of you who collect gil and then regret the gil. So one of the things that people don't like, but understand why we do it, is that the gil is not transferable between events. If we allowed it to be transferable, people would hoard the gil, and then we would have major, issues on the other end when I'd say, Owaka's gets like murdered because everyone saved up the gil and then everything's gone, right? But there are occasions where you'll get to the end of the day and either you've kept some gil because it looks nice, which is fine, but then you go, oh, but I had so much more gil and I wish I'd spent it. Well, for the first time ever in Generation 7, we're going to allow you to bank your gil. So at the end of the event, we would encourage you to go over to the Bank of Mog. You would be able to hand over your gil. They would give you a receipt for the amount of gil that you had, and then you will be able to extract that gil with that receipt at a future event. Now, whether or not this will move between generations, we do not know yet. We're going to trial it to see how it works, but I would say to you, don't hold on to your gil on the hopes that you might be able to bank it all up. It's not going to you're not going to grow interest on it or anything. It's more there if you just have a lot of gil left over and you're kind of like, there's nothing I want on the table right now. You'll be able to take it over to the Bank of Mog. They'll give you a receipt. And then when you go to your next Kupo, maybe in a different location, different country, whatever, you can hand over that receipt and then you can get your gil back. Very cool. Now, to begin with, this system will only be available to the top tier ticket holder because it's an introduction of a new system that we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with. So to begin with, the banking of gil will only be available to top tier ticket holders, but it gives us a chance to try it on a smaller number to see how manageable it is. But of course, we will, we're not going to at the end of a generation go, oh yeah, you've lost your gil or whatever. We're going to, if you've got the receipt, the gil is yours. We'll give you lots of notice if we end up changing the system in any form. So, we're not trying to be crooked. Before, once the event was over, that was it. But this gives you an opportunity to be able to bank that gil. So as I said, it will be a top tier perk to begin with, but we're hoping to roll it out wide if it's successful. So I think if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's move on to another event, which is Pomfinity. I just saw a comment that kind of threw me there. Helen says, what if you bank it as a top tier and then go to the event as another tier in the future? That's fine. If you've got the receipt, it doesn't matter. It's just the depositing where you have to have that top tier because it's a special service. Once you've got that receipt, you could be any ticket type and you can take that in and redeem. So it's not us trying to cash grab. It's more about us trying to limit the system to begin with. But then, of course, if you've got that receipt, you can just redeem it at any time you want. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, it's something that we're going to trial. There's other things that we've trialed in the past, things like Community Day, which I'm going to be talking about more in a second, and the expansions of that. It's kind of like the fast track of quests that we've tried in the past. So these are the kind of things that we trial, and if they work well, we end up doing them more permanently. I'm ready to talk about Glasgow, Pomfinity. Let's go. So, Pomfinity in Glasgow is going to be hosted at the Hilton Glasgow, which is just the home of Kupo. We've held many events there. It's on 1 William Street. It is the first Generation 7 event. So, new gil, some coins. And before you think that 1k coin is going to be worth 1,000 gil, it is not. It is just a commemorative coin. You'll have lots of coins, lots of fresh gil, fresh quest logs. This event is going to be capped at 850 attendees, which makes it the same size as our last event in Glasgow, which was Unipom. So same size. We're not pushing the numbers any bigger. We don't want to. We like it to be intimate and inclusive. We don't like it to be crowded. So 850 attendees is where we're sitting. That said, we are going to use additional space. So if you can picture yourself in the Glasgow Hilton right now, and you come out of the elevators and you can see the balcony overlooking the lobby, you will know that the ballroom is over here, and so last time we had the Bank of Mog and etc. over here, and we had the guest signings. There are actually 3 rooms behind that, and we're going to be using those 3 rooms as well. So we've expanded to exclusive use of the 3rd floor. I didn't even know that I knew there was at least 1 room back there, but I did not know there was 3. So we're going to be using those 3 spaces. So the event's the largest it can possibly be at the Glasgow venue. They've actually got a new space downstairs, which is kind of like it's not done right now, but they're going to be working on it. It's kind of like a members club type thing. We're going to be looking at even using that as well. So we are really expanding to our maximum ability to maximize on this event. We're going to be using a different registration system. So last 3 events that we've done in Glasgow, it's 3, isn't it? WePom, Unipom, WePom, FreePom, Unipom. Quite the tongue tire. We have asked you to register and come through the elevator ways, but this time we're going to be using the convention entrance. Don't worry. You don't need to worry about any of that right now, but just know that we're using a new registration system to make the queues more manageable in the morning. Obviously, we encourage pre-registration. It is absolutely the best thing to do. But there is actually a convention entrance. You may have not spotted it, but if you come up, again, if you've been there before and you see the venue, there's like a drive-up ramp. There's actually a convention entrance on the left. We're going to be using that, which is going to make queues more manageable, make coming and going more manageable, all sorts of things. There's going to be a patron premixer on Friday evening. So along with the pre-registration, we'll be encouraging you to come in, have a drink, have a chit chat. It's going to be quite small. It will not be open to all patrons. It will be ticketed because it is so small, but it will be a minimal fee. It's just about trying to control the numbers rather than everyone being downstairs suddenly signing up for Patreon and just walking on in. So it'll be a small fee, and those will be opened up to patrons in the near future. It'll be after ticket sales. We'll give you lots of notice. Don't worry. What else? We have to talk about ticket release. Now, I have already dropped this information already, but we'll still talk about it again. So the pre-sale is going to be on August 19th at 7 p.m. British Summer Time. That's an hour later than usual. And then the public sale will be the day after on August 20th at 7 p.m. BST. Now, let's note about the pre-sale. Now, we obviously offer a pre-sale to patrons. I know some people have an issue with this. I'll be frank, I don't understand it. I understand the reasons for the issues. I can't grasp why it's an issue. Every concert these days, whether it be Taylor Swift or Adele or Coldplay or whatever, they have pre-sales. The purpose of the pre-sale is to try and stop the murder of the public sales, because it will be unbelievable. Eventbrite, I'm sure, have great servers, but I remember when we did, I think it was Pomex, that we didn't have a pre-sale, and it was murder. Or Pommingham Palace was just as bad. It is intense, it's too much. So the pre-sale allows us that small kind of breathing period where it's easier to get tickets. Now, of course, with any event, if we didn't do a pre-sale, it would still be murder anyway. We've reached a point where we are just incredibly popular, and we're trying to come up with a way that we can manage it. One of the things that we've done is we've removed NPC tickets because there was a lot of confusion. People would think, I can meet the guest with NPC. No, you couldn't. The purpose of the NPC ticket was, just to bring a +1. But if everyone brings a +1 who's not interested in Final Fantasy, that puts us in a difficult position as well, because we're taking away tickets from people who might actually like Final Fantasy. So it can be challenging. So allowing the pre-sale, I hope, will make it more bearable for everybody. If you want to be in the pre-sale, you have to have been a patron for 3 consecutive months, which means that you need to become a patron by no later than the end of this month. It will chime you for June, it will chime you for July, and it will chime you for August. Now, of course, it is not required that you sign up for patronship. It is not required, but your support is very much appreciated, and I will touch on why that support is appreciated momentarily. I'm sure that there will be lots of questions as we go through all this. Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer everything, and if I keep reading the chat, I'm going to get very distracted, but I assure you that we'll cover everything on our website, and if you do have a question, support@KupoCon.com, that they'll be able to answer any specifics, but I will do my best to go over everything. I see a question about 2 of each ticket type. So basically, we are limiting it to 2 of each ticket types. And the purpose of this is so that somebody doesn't come on and ransack and buy 10 tickets. So you may purchase 2 day passes. You may purchase 2 evening passes. You may purchase, etc. It's limited to 2. Anything more than that, so you'd be buying for yourself on a +1. So we've put this restriction on so that patrons don't, take advantage. There is a room block available at the Hilton. Rates from $175 a night. That's B&B. It's bed and breakfast. Now, I need you to know, though, it is pay on booking, and it is a full payment, non-refundable. I have had a discussion with the Hilton. I was actually in Scotland just a few weeks ago, and I've told them I'm not best pleased with this. They did offer me a secondary block, but the rate was higher than this one, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it. I will say that I love the Hilton very much, that they have definitely had some wonderful upgrades to it, but I would say that there are more affordable options within walking distance of this venue, the Moxie, the Marriott, Premier Inns, Holiday Inns, that are really close, that are not as expensive. I understand why their rates are as high as they are. In fact, if you go directly to their website right now, a room per night is like $250, which is absolutely mental. If you want or have the ability to afford a room such as this, then by all means do your best to secure a block. But please know that it is pay on booking, and it is limited, and it is non-refundable. KupoCon has absolutely zero control over it. Takes zero commission. So understand that there's little we can do. So I would suggest that I always suggest this. My number one piece of advice to you is, if you're coming to this event and you don't already have a booking somewhere that can be cancelled, free cancellation, do that today. Go on Marriott's website, Hilton's website, Holiday Inn, Premier Inn. Worst case scenario, not a strong recommendation of using third parties like Booking.com or Expedia, but they are there. They are available to you. 9 times out of 10 they work out. But make the most of it. Find something that you can cancel. As I said, it is a wonderful hotel, but I recognize it's on the pricier side. But I guess renovations come with a cost. The link to that room block will be printed on your ticket. Okay, so that is the information I have on the immediates. Now let's talk about the hours of the event, if I could, please. So the event is split into 2 pieces. You have your main event, which is going to be on February 8th. That's the Saturday. And it's going to be from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Classic Kupo. On February 9th, which is the Sunday, we're going to have Community Day, which runs from 10:30 until 4:30. Now, the first thing I want you to do is not make the mistake of assuming that this is going to be like when we tested doing 2 days at Pom Squared. It is not. So Pom Squared went from this to this, okay? Glasgow is very different. It's 2 days. It's going from this to this. It's not changing, really. It's the content that changes. So day 1 is about the opening and closing ceremonies, the cosplay awards, the new Bazaar award, the Warrior of Light, the staff selection, the dress sphere, and the mine's gone blank. The dress sphere and the somebody write in chat. I'm so embarrassed. I come up with all these things and forget what they are. But it's all the awards. So embarrassed. It's going to be focused on the featured interviews with our guests, our featured guests. So we will be talking to a guest from 7 or a guest from 12 or 13 or 10 or whatever. It most likely will be our autograph bundles, the primary focus of those. So everything you've come to expect. You have all the noblemen. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. How did I forget that? Based on Final Fantasy IX. So it's everything that you come to expect from a Kupo. Sunday, we'll have an event square. So remember the good old days of Kupo where we'd have like big floor games, but they're just not possible now, right? Because we need the theatre, but we don't need a theatre of that size on day 2. So on day 2, we'll have community panels, which will have a smaller theatre. We won't have an opening and closing, but we will have community panels on more niche topics. We'll have buskers performing music around the venue. We'll have an event square where we do giant activities. You'll be able to do quests that might be locked to a specific day. All the desks will be open. There will be special guests for both days. Not necessarily the same guests, but there will be special guests for both days. The market will be open for both days. So this really is truly a 2-day convention. Pom Squared was the introduction of having community content, but this is on another level. We've really kind of opened it up to fill the entire weekend. I see everyone, nobleman. It's a bit delayed on this end, but thank you. I appreciate you giving me the information. So it's going to be a full Kupo weekend. Very exciting. Now, if we compare this to an event, I don't know. I don't want to say an event. Just let's say some classic London convention. Typically, both days are the same. Some slightly different content on stage or whatnot. We have designed this in a way that day one is like in your face, bang. Day two is lots of fresh content, but on a much more relaxed pace. So, no awards or anything, but you get to go do your quests, still maybe go do some autograph stuff, do the market, play some fun games, go listen to some music. It's a much more cooled down experience, but still on the grand scale. So you will not be able to purchase a ticket for Sunday unless you come on Saturday. I'll be talking about all the ticket types soon, but we're still treating it the same. So it's the main event and the community day. So you must come to the main event to come to community day. You don't have to come to community day. I would say that you're missing out on a large portion of the experience if you choose not to. So it's either one on day one or both. You cannot do just day two. I was going to say B&Q, but I went away from it. If you know, you know. Let's talk about pricing, shall we? This has been really stressful for me, like really bothersome. Pom Hortons, Kupo.shop. This has been really bothersome for me. I have really struggled with tickets over the last few years. I was looking at like ticket prices going all the way back years. And I was looking at the history of our Scottish events in London, and then I grabbed these screenshots, and these are the prices that came from the last UK events. So we have there, I think, the top one's Pom Central. I think the next one is Retro Pom. Then the one below that, I can't remember. I think that might be Free Pom, Unipom. Anyway, and then the bottom one there, I think that might be Pom. Anyway, whatever. I can't remember. But these are the last 4 UK events. And we haven't changed the prices. So we're going back like pre-COVID here. And anyone who knows anything knows that inflation has just been insane, absolutely insane. And I have tried really, really hard to keep prices the same. But every way I ran the numbers, it just wasn't possible. I kept trying everything. I tried everything I possibly could to try and make it work. And I spoke to Nikita about this. I've spoke to Rachel about this. I've spoke to Nat about it in great detail. I've had a few conversations with Lahara as well. And I was just saying, I don't know what to do. I feel wrong to put up the ticket prices. I was watching a review the other day, and someone was like, Kupo's a little bit expensive, and they said that they didn't do any of the quests in the book, and I was like, well, a lot of the value is in that, but I don't want to remove the quest log, because if you take the quest log out, then I don't think you're getting the same experience, yada yada yada. So I basically sat with my little black book, which I don't think is in here right now, and I love to scribble. I'm a numbers man, and I spent days just scribbling numbers, desperately trying to work it out. And I was on the phone to our suppliers and speaking to my DHL account manager and going on and on and on and on. And ultimately, I said to myself, I don't care what it takes. I am not changing those bloody prices. And that is why they have not changed. The base ticket is the same, the premium ticket is the same, and the top tier ticket is the same. And as promised, we're adding a Maxima ticket on top of that pushes it to the next level. But the ticket prices, after years and years and years, have not changed. I will not do it. I am so aware of how expensive the world is these days. Like, I was out the other day, I was in a store called Canadian Tire, which is kind of like the equivalent of a B&Q or Home Depot. And we were buying some cleaning materials, and it was hand soap, just regular hand soap, and it was $6. And I was like, $6 for a little thing of soap. Or the kids went to the movies the other day. It was like $50-$60 for a 2-hour movie and some popcorn. And I'm just like, what is happening to the world? So I have busted everything I can to make this happen. So we have kept prices the same. As I mentioned, there is no NPC ticket anymore because we don't want to encourage that mentality of bringing, don't get me wrong, bring a +1, but people were misunderstanding. They're not reading the website thinking that they get, yada, yada. So every ticket here has a quest log. The standard ticket, Flare, is your base standard ticket. You come in with your quest log, you get the full KupoCon experience, no restrictions whatsoever. Holy shit, it's good, because it's a ticket that includes a quest log, a t-shirt, and a tote bag. Again, the price has not gone up in years now. Everyone else is sticking their prices up, and we have not put it up by a penny. And then the ultimate ticket goes above and beyond and offers something that is just, it's our ultimate ticket. It has the fast track service, and it has the VIP adorned badge, and it has the bag of goodies, it has reserved seating, it has priority registration. Inside the quest log now for our ultimate ticket holders, we're going to continue with the fast track passes that we tried. If you'll remember, we had like a card that you could tick off the quests and hunts that you've done, so you didn't have to go through them all. Saves you so much time. So that's going to be printed in the quest log now, and if you have an Ultima or Maxima ticket, you can go over to the desk and they'll just spot check what quests you've done. They'll take your word for the rest, meaning you don't have to stand there while they check all your quests. They'll only check 1 or 2, stamp it off, give you your gil, move on, just fast, like a bullet, in and out. Amazing. And then for the first time ever, and probably the last, we're introducing the Maxima ticket, where we're going to go OTT. We're going to push the boat down. We're going to do things that we only dreamed of doing, things that we've always wanted to do. So this is going to be, the extra money is all about the loot. We are going to go full on here. So if you want to give back to Kupo while enjoying yourself and just maximizing on Kupo coolness, the Maxima ticket in very small quantities will be available online. And I can't tell you about the contents of what we're creating right now, but I assure you, as with all our loot, you look back and I don't think we've ever produced a bad loot bag. Every loot bag we've ever made has just been stunning. So Ultima and Maxima will share the same services, such as the banking of the gil and priority registration and reserve seating, but the Maxima is about maximizing on that merchandise, and there might be a few other little surprises for you as well. So Ultima ticket holders, when it comes to autograph bundles, you still get your priority. Maxima is about just taking it one step further. Okay, let's talk about the evening. The evening was such a headache. So I asked for opinions on what should the theme be? And some people PJ party. I was like, not for the 20th. I like the idea. And someone's like, I want to rave. I'm like, And someone's like, you should do gil or no gil. No, never again. There are so many things that we could do. We even thought about maybe, actually I won't tell you that one because we may end up still doing that one, but there's lots of things that we could have done. But then I decided, actually I won't say I decided, I was having a conversation with Nat, and I said, do we even need a theme? I said, maybe everyone should just wear Kupo colors, the purples, the kind of burgundy reds. And she's like, and she made some comment about, everyone could wear their era. And I was like, hold on a second. And then I thought of Taylor Swift. Forgive me if you're Swiftie, you'll like this. If you don't, just forget the Taylor Swift reference. And then it made me realize, oh my God, we should just invite Taylor Swift. No, I was like, oh my God, we should have a Kupo Era party where we get to celebrate the kind of the time in Kupo that means something to us. So at this event, we encourage you to just don your Kupo clothes. Perhaps you came to KupoCon at the first ever UK KupoCon, which is Mind the Pom, and you've got the shirt hanging at home and you're thinking, God, I'd love to crack that out, you know? And maybe you were at the bigger Pom, which had that, oh, I nearly said a bad word then, it had that wonderful pink shirt with the kind of US flag and Moogle on. Amazing shirt. Maybe you want to crack that one out. Maybe you've got your flan pants or your tri-pom dress or whatever. You've got some crazy ass Kupo gear out there. So it's about celebrating KupoCon, celebrating your Koo Era. So that's what it's going to be. So the Koo Era. Now for this, I do apologize. There has been a minor increase in ticket prices for the evening. It has gone up by £3. And for that, I can only apologize. But we had to make an increase to cover the expenses of what we're planning. We're pushing the boat out a little bit more. This is the only minor increase across the board. So Koo Era is the evening event where we're going to push the boat out. We encourage you to, like I said, dress up in KupoCon goodies. Now, what makes it kind of unique, and what we're hoping will make it unique, is that in the months ahead, the weeks and months ahead, via Kupo.shop, we're going to be producing some new items. So some new dresses, some new hot pants, some new skirts. We've got these really cool shiny skirts incoming. A bunch of very unique Chocobotiki type clothes that you'll be able to order. And they'll be on pre-order, then we'll place the order and we'll ship them into you and you'll have them in time. So if you want something a bit unique, look out. We're going to be doing a few small kind of custom orders at Kupo.shop. But if not, you've got so many t-shirts to pick from. So many, just bling it up, you know, make it Kupo. Tell us, it doesn't even necessarily have to be, you know, your first introduction to Kupo, but it is about celebrating what Kupo means to you. So I think this is going to be really, really cool. Community Day. So Community Day in London was a little bit cheaper, of course. It wasn't very much. However, we're having to expand this event quite considerably. Unlike London, which was, you know, this tiny room, the same room where we're hosting the Popup, we've decided we wanted to use the full ballroom, and that comes with the full cost. So we are using the space twice. However, it's still cheaper than a normal ticket. I still wanted to make sure. Now, a lot of people said to me when we were talking about this and trying to plan it, say, you should just charge the same for both days. I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm not prepared to do it. And we've really tightened the budget, really worked really hard. And again, this is kind of bringing back to my point earlier where I say thank you to our patrons, because if it wasn't for the patrons, we wouldn't be able to do these sorts of things and keep these prices as low as we can. So thank you to those patrons. Thank you so much. Community Day is that full-on experience, okay? But it is an add-on. So remember, you have to have come to day one to access the Community Day. Now, also the thing to really keep in mind is that if you have a Maxima ticket on day one, and then you buy a Community Day ticket, your Maxima status goes between both days. There's no premium, yeah? So if you then go from, I don't know, you have a premium ticket and that passes over and you get a Community Day, you still keep whatever services were involved with that ticket between both days. It's just an add-on. You don't have to like purchase the same status again. Owaka's Gill pouch is coming in an actual pouch this time. That's why it says pouch instead of purse. You will receive a little Kupo pouch, which I assure you and guarantee will have at least one of each coin in. So either you spend it or keep it or whatever, and you'll receive that on arrival. So your 1 gil coin, your 2 gil coin, and your 5 gil coin. Obviously, it will have more than 8 gil in there, but it will have a bunch of stuff, but at least one of each, so that you can either keep it or spend it or whatever. And we're also bringing in the inflation offset again. This gives you the ability to pay what is kind of classic inflation. All the recommendations to me from everyone I've spoke to, even people that know money more than I do, said that we should have increased tickets across the board by £5. I refused to do it. However, I understand that a lot of you are not interested in Patreon or perhaps just have the ability to give extra. So the inflation option is there. You can do it if you want to, but there is no pressure. There's no judgment. There's no nothing. I'm not going through going, oh, Bill did it. Why didn't Bob? Bob's an ass. I understand that life is expensive. I'm a father of 2. I understand how incredibly expensive life is. My God, my kids went for fillings last week and it's $350 out your back pocket. I understand that life is very expensive. So you pay what you can. If you can't afford the inflation, don't worry about it. We don't hold it against you. There are no perks for buying it. There's nothing. It's only if you can afford it. If you can afford it, thank you. If you can't, don't worry. So those are the ticket types that are available to you for Glasgow. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. If you buy, say, the £39 flare ticket, right? And then for, obviously, you want to do day 2, so you buy the community day and you buy the Koo Era ticket. Your ticket is still under £100 for a full weekend experience. Now, go compare that to one of the major conventions. We're still cheaper. If you want to go all out and you buy the Maxima ticket and you buy a community day and you buy a Koo Era ticket, you're still under £200 for a full-on, most Kupo-like experience ever, and you're still coming in under 200. I'm pretty proud of that. I think it's a huge accomplishment. We've worked very, very hard to keep it that way. We continue to work very, very hard to keep it that way. So I hope you can appreciate the effort that we've made. I have a couple other little things that I'd like to touch on, if I may. We're just going to move on to TriPom. So we've just recently released our latest. We've just released our latest starter pack, which is exciting to have so many starter packs available now for those who are starting to get into TriPom. The Fira starter pack is coming next week. Judy's packing them probably as we speak. TriPom 6.5 is still getting that little release kit that's going to come in a bag with boosters. We may put a die in it. We're kind of still working on that, but we're going to do that with every release. It's exciting. I'm having to push 6.5 back just slightly. I apologize for that. It's only by a couple weeks, so if you're a patron, it doesn't affect you in any way. I think the original date was like the 12th, 13th, somewhere around there, but we've pushed it back to the 24th because we're a little bit behind, and that's because of the flood. It took us a long time to kind of catch up, and it did unfortunately affect our schedule. So for that, I apologize. We're slightly behind. There will be a 6.6 that's going to release in November 2024, which will be just in time for Pom West. 7.0 will release in January 2025, just ahead of Pomfinity. The Ultimania is now going to be updated every release. So, for example, 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, every release, because now we're doing direct to factory from our online store, which is making our life a lot easier because we don't have to keep stock here. So we're able to update it every release. Now, of course, don't buy it every release, but whenever you want one, you won't have to go, oh, well, it's kind of like 3 months out of date. I don't want it. It will always be up to date. And I'm hoping to bring it right up to speed this summer. We've also restocked our folders, which are available on kupo.shop right now, and delighted to show off the new limit break and event promos. So the Kefka, that's the final form of Kefka. That's the end boss version. That will be releasing in 6.5. There's Infinity Mog, that's for Pomfinity, and Wizard Mog, who looks a lot like a guy I know. But I won't say what either of these are from for the fear of copyright infringement, but I think they will look both recognizable to you. So I hope you like those. There's so many TriPom cards to come. Patrons, you're going to be really spoiled in the next few days, weeks, months, with lots and lots of previews. Of course, the Kefka will be a foil. The final thing I want to touch on today is Project Origin. Now, Project Origin is something we've touched on a few times. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please go to our YouTube channel. Go look at it, Project Origin. It's a documentary that we're producing for KupoCon, looking on our journey, how we created KupoCon, the community, and the road to the 20th event. It's still in production. Eric is doing a fantastic job. We're encouraging you to submit files and self-tapes. If you're sat there and you'd love to be involved in this, you've got a story that involves KupoCon that you think people need to hear, that you think is powerful, you can email us, support@kupocon.com, tell us your story, and perhaps Eric will be able to sit down with you. Perhaps you're not comfortable to do that. Perhaps you would rather record something, or perhaps you even just have footage that you think is amazing, that should be in there, a clip from an event, something funny that happened, maybe upload it to a service like WeTransfer or whatever, something like that, so we get it full res. Email it across to us. Maybe make a self-tape if you'd rather do it in the privacy of your home. Just make sure it's at least 1080p or the highest quality that you can, and send it over to us, support@KupoCon.com. And yeah, it may be included. We'll obviously credit you. Eric will be recording at the UK Popup and Pom West. In fact, he's coming here to the island next month to do some recording. Here's just a few screen grabs of some of the recordings we've done. We did a phenomenal, honest to God, such a good interview with Ben Starr. I wish I could just release the interview to you now. It's like an hour. And some of it's really heartfelt. It's really moving. There's a few tears in there. There's a lot of tears in all the interviews, to be honest with you. There's a great one here with Nat, not long after the flood, with Stephanie, with myself, slightly jet-lagged in Toronto. Mel's is one of my absolute favorites. It's so heartfelt. I love Mel, and this is a great interview. And then a wonderful clip there from the B-roll of Piper at the house. It's going to be something really spectacular. It will be a premiere in London next year, and you're all invited for what I think is going to be a truly moving experience. I know that we got some flack. It's oh, you're doing a documentary, how self-absorbed. This is not self-absorbed. This is not propaganda. This is our story, and I think it's a story that should be told. Well, it's peeing down outside. Natalie has disappeared because I think she's gone to get a pizza. I always celebrate after a KupoCast with a nice bit of fast food. I think that's everything I've got for you today. The Pomfinity website is ready and will be going live right after this cast at KupoCon.com/PMF. It's not up yet, but it will be in just a moment. Thank you to everyone for the support. I know that we've had a few patrons sign up in the last little while. I would just like to thank them. I'm probably going to murder some names. So Moses, Jonathan, Lamont, Luca, thank you for signing up. I'm sure there are others. If I missed you, my apologies. Thank you for the support. It means a lot to us. If you have missed the announcement, we recently got a fresh delivery of our new mascot plushies. Hello. These are brand spanking new. They are much bigger than the original ones. I have should I go grab an original? Let me grab an original. You're going to see my legs though. You're going to see my legs. Original. Oh, much bigger, much more defined. Really pleased with these, and they do have a detachable ticket, so you know what's coming, don't you? You know what's coming in the future. Anyway, just wait until you have a Velcro Buster sword. Okay, well that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for joining. Your support is massively appreciated. I do hope you can join us for the Dawn Trail event in just a few days. It's my absolute privilege and pleasure to work on this project. As tiring as it is, I do love it with all my heart. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. As I said, I hope to see you on Thursday. Thanks a billion for your support. If you have a question, just reach out to us across social media and we'll do our best to help you. But if you need direct support at KupoCon.com, and join that Discord, discord.gg/KupoCon. The community is really friendly. So is the community group on Facebook. Just come and introduce yourself. There's a great introduction section over on Discord. So please come say hello. I apologize, didn't really get to read much of the chat today, but I will do. I did see all the positive comments about keeping the prices the same. Thank you. That means a lot to me. It's taken a lot. Really, anyone who truly understands how hard it is to produce things these days with inflation, this is a monumental moment to be able to keep tickets the same. Thank you so much. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye.